Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live, Laugh, Love, Life. I believe this is episode 6, which is so crazy. As you guys can see, I'm wearing a pretty monochrome outfit today, blue, white, and gray, and that is because I just came back from watching the UConn Huskies play basketball. The University of Connecticut women's basketball game was at the Mohegan Sun Arena, which is where the WNBA team, the Connecticut Suns, play. It was an exhibition Hall of Fame game, their first game of the season. I was so excited to go because UConn women's basketball is like my team that I'm like obsessed with. If I had to pick only one team across sports, across every level, I would pick, say it with me now, UConn Huskies women's basketball. We are coming for title number 13 this year. Mark my words. I want undefeated. I want it all. I'm being greedy. It's it's possibly my last year in New England because I'm going to college as far away as possible. So I need them to represent. I really just need my team to do well this year. And based on what I just saw a couple hours ago, I think there's a pretty high chance they're not going to let me down. So, if you haven't caught on yet, I'm going to be talking about sports this episode. I feel like every time I sit down now, I'm like, oh, I just did this, and it reminded me I wanted to talk about this. So, that's exactly what we're doing. First, I'm going to explain why basketball is my absolute favorite sport to watch by far. Like, it's not even close. I never played basketball a day in my life. We have a little hoop in the driveway. I don't think I've ever made a shot. Like, I genuinely don't think I've ever gotten a basket, ever. 0 buckets for me, which is totally fine. It's just not my thing. That's okay. But I discovered basketball and my love for it pretty recently. We went to a Celtics game, the Boston Celtics, NBA, in Boston last year in the spring. But we went and I was like, wait, why is this literally the best, most entertaining sport ever? So I'm going to give you, I guess, my argument for basketball because I feel like it's not the most watched sport, and I think it should be. Whether it's women's or men's, college or pro, that's another conversation. But I will just talk about basketball in general. So, first of all, I feel like we have to talk about I want my team to be scoring. I want to see those points. I want to be screaming, jumping up and down, clapping multiple times per quarter, per section of the game, you know? So, I need a high scoring game. Immediately, soccer, gone. Baseball, pretty much gone. Like, no, I don't want to sit there. I'm sorry, like, it's all impressive. I could never be an athlete like that. It's just not for me. So, no hate, but as a viewer, it's not nearly as fun for me to be watching you score like 2 points the whole game when I could be watching teams score upwards of like 80, 90, 100 points. So that's definitely number one. I want something high scoring. And then I also really appreciate that I can actually see where the basketball is at all times, because that's one of my pet peeves with hockey is they're quick, it can be high scoring, like it's cool, but I cannot for the life of me follow it because I cannot see the puck. Okay? In ice hockey, whether you're watching it on TV or watching it in person, I love the Bruins. I have a Bruins jersey, whatever, all that great stuff. But if I can't see the puck and then all of a sudden everyone's cheering, I'm like, oh, they scored, yay. It's fine. But when I can see the basketball and I can see it going everywhere, I can see every single pass, every dribble, like that's what I want. It's like you can see the basketball is there and it's being moved quickly. I also feel like it's easy to understand. And I also appreciate actually being able to see the players' faces, which is one of my complaints about football. Besides the fact that it's like only men and there's no pro women's football, I feel like my other issue is just in comparison to basketball. Like all I'm saying is basketball is the best. I'm not saying these other sports suck. I'm just saying they don't measure up to basketball because basketball's just better. I feel like basketball, you can really see the players' talents, and it's so much easier to be like, wow, that's so impressive. I don't know. I just feel like basketball, you can be so much more versatile, and there's so much more potential to come up with and add like new skills to your skill set for these athletes. Like at a certain point, I feel like there's only so many like tackles you can do or like paths you can take to run down the field and score a touchdown. But there are so many different ways to score points, to defend, to do all these things. And I feel like that's another thing I really love about basketball is that I feel like it's always evolving and records are constantly being broken. The standard just keeps getting higher and higher, and new stats are coming out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden, this person is the first person ever to do this, and this, and have this efficiency statistic and this defense statistic, and like all these things. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of sports that I didn't even really consider, but I want like a team sport. I do have to say though, in the Olympic seasons, I do tune into gymnastics, swimming, and figure skating. So, two of those are summer, I think, and one is winter. Figure skating is just super cool, but it doesn't really register in my mind as like the same category of sport as like if we're just saying basketball, baseball, football, hockey, like team sports where everyone has a role and a position that they play and, whatever. So that's that. Also, I just think it's impressive. There's just something so cool about the way that the game evolves and all the different ways that you can play it and how every team plays it differently, and somehow there just becomes like these really cool matchups where like the rivalries are like you never know who's going to win because they have such different styles, but somehow they work to make the game just so entertaining. And maybe it's also just because I feel like basketball is much easier to understand. For me, it was at least because no matter how many times I watch like a football game, I don't think I'll ever understand what's actually going on. But basketball, it only took me like a couple watches before I understood like this is what counts as a foul, this is what gets you a free throw, this is this many points, shooting from here gets you that many points. Like I started actually being able to pick out when I was watching games on TV what setting a screen meant and like all these different types of plays that they would do. And I enjoy honestly every part of it. Like I love watching defense. I love a good steal. Oh my gosh. If you steal the ball and like go and make a layup on the other end, you are immediately one of my favorite players. Like I love that so much. Obviously, offense is cool when you're like a good shooter and you're just like getting threes over and over and over again. It's so satisfying when the ball goes in and it's just like all net. Like there's nothing like it. I don't know. You can fight me on it all you want, but basketball I think will always be my favorite. Okay, next I guess I'll specifically talk about UConn a little bit. I mainly just got into it maybe a little bit because I'm a lesbian and guys, like women's sports, if you know, you know, but the UConn team has some baddies on it, okay, guys? It's not my fault. Like, I don't really know what to say. So I may have started watching for other reasons besides interest in basketball, although at that point I'd already been to the Celtics game. I'd already known, like, yeah, basketball is actually so cool. So even if they weren't hot, I feel like I still probably would have watched it. But I just want to say, like, women's basketball was on my radar. Like, I saw the stuff that, like, Caitlin Clark was doing and stuff. But it wasn't until, and this is controversial in the basketball world. I don't know how many of my listeners are really like basketball fans, and I'm very new. So please feel free to tell me I have no freaking clue what I'm talking about. I can take it. But I'm just saying, like, for me personally, I didn't start watching UConn and rooting for a team until Paige Beckers came on my feed. There's just something about that woman and like her energy that just makes you want to watch her play. And it sure made me want to watch her play. And now I'm back for my second, I guess, my first full season as a UConn fan. Even though she's now in the W, she's not playing for the Huskies anymore. I'm still a big fan. They have so many other great players. I made sure, like, as soon as I got the new roster, I was looking up all the highlights of all the transfers, all the new players. I was super excited that we got Kaylee Heckel because I specifically remember watching the tournament game. It was the Elite Eight. They played USC, and Kaylee transferred from USC. So she was at USC as a freshman last year. And I remember when she checked in, she was like so quick and just immediately like interrupted everyone's flow. And I was like, whoa, that girl is so cool. And I was like, she would be even cooler if she went to UConn. And lo and behold, she transferred to UConn. We got her. She did look a little nervous this game. She was fouling a little too much for me and probably definitely a little too much for Gino at the end of the game, like the second half, but it's okay. You got to get used to it. I did, I guess, my highlights of the game. Yeah, I wrote down some. So, Caroline Ducharme, she scored. I wanted her to score. I didn't care how many points. I think she only got 2, but that's okay because she was shooting. She was being a good defender. She was being more aggressive. Like, I feel so, so, so bad for her and just any athlete that's had to like go through injuries. She had so much promise and potential as a freshman, and it just absolutely breaks my heart that we missed like 2-3 years of the growth and like possibility and potential that she had as a player because she was so good. Oh, Caroline. And it also helps a lot that she's from Massachusetts because I love Massachusetts. I love my state so much. So, go Caroline. I remember I literally was sitting right next to my dad and I was like, Dad, if Caroline scores, I will be out of my seat screaming. I will be so happy. It will make my whole day. Like 30 seconds later, she scored and I did in fact scream at the top of my lungs. I was like, "Go Carol! Let's go!" I was just so proud of her and so happy for her. And I know it's going to take a lot for her to get back to where she was, and she might not ever get fully back to as healthy as she used to be because of all the head injuries and concussions and stuff. But I really just wish the best for her, and it made me so happy. Like every time she checked into the game, the whole crowd was so supportive and just started clapping, and she honestly got like one of the best receptions of any of the players, and I'm really happy for her because she deserves it, and we're all, with her and rooting for her while she navigates coming back from such a tough like series of injuries. Okay, AZ's shooting. I mean, my family asked me before the game because they're not really fans like I am. They don't really know ball like I do. I'm just kidding. But they did ask me. My dad was like, if you had to pick like 2 or 3 players for us to look out for tomorrow, I was like Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd. Immediately, I was like Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd. AZ killed it. I was talking about like how good at shooting she was, and we were watching them just like warming up before the game, and my brother was sitting like 2 seats over. He was like, Clara, and I was like, what? And he points at AZ. He goes, is she the one you said was really good at shooting? I was like, yeah. And I was like, why? He goes, because she just made like 10 threes in a row. I was like, yeah, that's my girl. That's AZ35. Fud around and find out, guys. I mean, she ate. And people were saying like she had a slow start. I was like, okay, just because she wasn't shooting right away. Like, sorry, my girl wants to pass. Dang. I thought she did great. She made like, I don't even know, like 5 threes in a row. randomly spawned like 20 points in the third quarter. So that was great. I honestly was a little awestruck. Like every time she was on the floor, I was trying to watch basketball. I was watching basketball, but I did catch myself. There were a couple times, guys. I can't believe I'm admitting this, but I feel like anyone in my situation would also, because we literally had floor seats. Like it was us, the aisle, and then like the actual like right on the court seats. So we're like the first people back from there. I could stand up, walk like 2 steps, reach my hand out and touch these players. Like I'm not even kidding. And like there were a couple moments where I just got a little lost staring because I was like, first of all, when we first walked in, I audibly gasped because I've only ever seen these people like on TV, on social media, and for me to be like such a big fan, and like there was something in my brain that like it just didn't compute that these were real human beings, and seeing them like fully formed, I was like, oh my god, it's AZ Fudd, it's Janelle Alfie, it's KK Arnold. Like I could not. I was telling my family the entire walk down to our seats. I was like, if I faint, will you catch me? Guys, I'm melting, I'm dying, I'm gonna faint, I'm gonna cry, like I'm gonna scream. I did not know what to do with myself. Like I've never felt like that in my whole life. It took like a solid couple minutes for me to be like, okay, they're just human beings. They happen to be really hot and really good at basketball and really gorgeous, just like perfect specimens, but they're also human just like me, and it's okay, and we're not gonna cry, and we're not gonna freak out, and we're gonna be normal. I'm crying just thinking about it. Oh my god. I can't believe I was in the presence of these people. Like, guys, don't even get me started on these people. Like, they're so perfect. I can't. Yeah, I mean, she killed it. It was a little hard to focus sometimes when she was on the floor. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Guys, I know she has a girlfriend. She's taken, so it's fine. Wow, I just looked over and this lighting is actually criminal. Huh, if you didn't think I was a ghost before, surprise, I am. That's crazy. Okay, the Sarahs, 8. Are you kidding me? Sarah Strong, first of all, got to 17 points in like a quarter. I don't even know. My dad and I, we were like 5 minutes in. We look up, my dad's like, she already has 11. I'm like, yeah, Dad, what did I tell you? I freaking told you so. Like, let's go, Sarah. She came out so strong. No pun intended. Yeah, she really ate. And then Sarah Williams really pleasantly surprised me. Obviously, from her highlights at Wisconsin and like being a defensive player of the year, I knew what she was capable of to some extent, but I was sort of expecting like, you're transferring to UConn. Like that's not just any place. Like it's a hard adjustment. It's difficult. But she was so smooth. She looked like she fit right in. I was very, very impressed. And she had some beautiful field goals, some beautiful blocks and defensive plays and all that. I thought she did a really good job. I was super impressed. And then last but not least, KK went down at one point. Like, she's fine, guys. She's fine. Thank God. But she went, and another girl from BC also had like a rough fall at one point. But KK like really scared me, guys. Oh my God. And I remember these guys behind me were doing like running commentary, as was I, just to myself and kind of my dad as well. But I remember them just behind me being like, please, KK, like, get up. And I just wanted to stand up and be like, Kimora Arnold, you better get your ass up off that basketball court. Oh my God. I was like, this is first game of the season. You are okay, baby girl. You are fine. You better get your butt up. But she was good. She was fine. I did not need a scare like that. When she got up, I was like, why would you ever do that to me? Like, I was like, this is your first game of the season. What makes you think you're allowed to do that to your poor fans? Like, god damn it, get up, KK. So, thankfully, she was fine. Oh my gosh. It's still stressing me out to think about it. I just saw a big crowd and I was like, no! And I knew it was one of our players. And I was like, Dad, who is it? Like, I can't see. I'm so stressed. And I saw it was KK and I was like, no! Yeah, there's nothing else to say. I'm so glad she's okay. Okay, speaking of injuries, tell me about something that PMO. Oh my God. When they show the injuries on TV and keep like replaying them and like shoving the cameras in the athletes' faces, can you stop? Like, can you actually fucking stop? Like, what is wrong with you? Ew! Oh, it's disgusting. And I see, like, I've never watched a full WNBA game, but have seen a couple clips from games where players are getting injured. Duh, because the W has players getting injured like every freaking game. It's ridiculous. Anyway, of players getting injured, and then these other players, opposing team, same team, doesn't matter, are using like their towels to cover them. And there was this one that really pissed me off and pissed a lot of other people off for good reason, where the player was being covered by other players from all angles for their privacy. They're suffering, they're in pain, physical and emotional. That's overwhelming. Like, hello, leave them alone. And then the freaking camera, since they can't get any angles on the floor, switches to the high view so they can see them from above. Excuse you? Don't you think maybe they're being covered for a reason? Oh my God. That and similar things really piss me off. Like, if people need privacy, give them privacy. Nothing is worth violating a human's privacy like that. I really don't understand. I don't get it. So that really, really annoys me. I'm really hoping that they didn't really do that this game. I mean, I'm sure they showed the almost injury, the scare, but she's fine, thank God. Because it's part of the game. But you don't have to keep pushing it and replaying it and getting different angles. I'm like, just give the poor players their space. Especially when they are really bad injuries. Like, that is so much to process for them. Let alone with a camera being stuck in their face, knowing that all their reactions, their facial expressions of being in physical pain are being recorded for the world to see. Like, that's just disrespectful, in my opinion. And I feel like it needs to be stopped. It needs to be done. Just, you can show it happening and then just, whoop, commercial. Any other replay of anything else in the game, just stop with that. Just, you let them, be taken off the court however they need. You give them time to breathe and get up on their own, whatever they need. But we need to stop. Just like, look at this person. They're in pain. Pure entertainment. No, we don't want to see that. It hurts me as a fan to watch players I care about be in pain like that and be scared like that. Be, feeling however way when clearly they just need a little privacy. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at that point. So I'm going to move on. But that's how I feel. If you didn't know, now you know. All right, next, I'm just going to do a few sports games, do's and don'ts for sports fans. Because some of you guys are great. Some of us are great. And some of you really, really piss me off sometimes. So first thing I'm going to say, my philosophy is that I'm always cheering for something. I will never cheer against something in a sports setting. So I'm never going to be the person booing. And I caught myself, I let out one little boo for BC today, and I immediately cut it out. I was like, what is wrong with me? I literally said to my dad, I was like, no, I don't want to be that kind of fan. So booing is an absolute no. Also, the UConn pep band was getting on my nerves because I know you're supposed to distract the other team when they have a free throw and whatever, but they were just, they were being so rude, and I really just wish that was not a thing. That, like, you have to get in the heads of the opponent. Like, that's gonna help anything. I'm like, can we just let them play? Can they just show their skills and, like, whoever's the best is the best and we don't have to play all these mind games like, oh, let's boo them. I remember I went to an Arsenal game. That's like a soccer club in the UK because my uncle's a really big fan. And there was like this chant going around because they were playing Tottenham. I have no idea. But I remember it being like, if you hate Tottenham, stand up. If you hate Tottenham, stand up. And I was like, girl, I'm not standing for that. I don't hate anybody. I don't know those people. Like, what are you talking about? It's a game. So we take that, like, hating the opponent a little too seriously. I try and just keep it to, like, cheering for my team. And when the other team scores or has a really good play, I am able to look at it and be like, you know what? That was pretty cool. That was pretty good. Like, they kind of ate with that. But at the end of the day, I will be on my feet screaming for UConn and not your team. Like, if you win, I'll be like, yay. If UConn wins, I'm posting it on my Instagram story 3 times. You know, screaming, jumping up and down, clapping. This is the best day of my life. If BC won, I would have been like, it's okay. We'll get them next time, you know? It's fine. But I'm not gonna stand there being like, boo! I'm like, miss your free throw, miss, miss, miss. So the pep band was pissing me off because they were doing like the whole like, miss, miss. And I feel like it worked a couple times, which, whatever. Still, don't do that. I was giving them the stink eye the entire time. I was like, I get you have school spirit, but you don't have to be a jerk. Like, dang. And that might be just totally normal sports culture. I think it is totally normal sports culture and like having rivalries. I do get the rivalries. Like, maybe every once in a while you will hear me say I hate the Yankees. I'm sorry, it's not my fault. It's where I come from. If you hate me, I'm gonna hate you. Like, that's how it works. But if it's just a random team that, like, I'm like, okay. And even, like, if UConn was playing South Carolina, like, I'm not gonna boo them. I'm just not. It feels wrong to me. Like, it feels disrespectful. So, yeah, I also want to say, if you're gonna go to a sports game, you need to have energy. Because I was sitting around a bunch of these people who were just, like, not clapping, not, you know, cheering, not anything and I get it was like not what they came for necessarily, but like the halftime stuff when the cheerleaders came out, like no one was clapping. I was like, hello? They're literally standing on one foot in the air with like 3 people holding them. You can't clap for that? They're doing a pretty sick dance. I don't care if it's the opposing team's cheerleaders. They're not playing basketball against your team. They're just dancing. You can't clap for that. You can't give a little woohoo. Like, yeah, that just makes no sense to me. I'm like, if you're going to go to a sporting event, you need to have energy for every athlete involved the entire time. You don't have to be happy for the other team. You don't have to be like, woo, on your feet cheering every time they score. I also really hate it when we do like the bated breath and then someone like misses a shot and you can just hear the If I was an athlete, like I'm sure they learn to just not let that affect them at all. But if I was an athlete, that would bother me so much. That would piss me off. I'd be like, you know what? You come on down here on the court and try, okay? Let me see you shoot the ball and make it every single time, 100% field goal percentage, okay? Let's see it. Because what do you mean? Like Ashlyn Shades throwing up threes like every couple seconds and one misses, you're like, oh, like, stop. I don't know. And I get like you're so excited and then but I feel like I can't in good conscience ever be a part of that because I just know if I was an athlete and I heard that, I'd be like, someone from the audience, come on down. That's just like something I don't get. I'm like, why are we criticizing players when we could literally never even dream of being in their position? And it's not a direct criticism. Like, obviously, those are fans doing it. Like, the opposing team isn't going to be sad that one of the players missed a shot, but I think we just don't need to vocalize it as much. Like, it's not necessary. I can be like excited, and then when they miss it, be like, dang. But the collective, needs to stop. I don't like it at all. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. Just have fun. Like, when they do the stuff on the Jumbotron, like, participate, okay? If you signed up for a sporting event, participate. Bring energy, okay? And last but not least, I just want to say, like, be positive and supportive of all the athletes. There are crazy fans out there that I never want to be like, because I know, like, I listen to sports like podcasts and stuff, and every so often players will come on and be like, oh yeah, when our team lost last year, like, we got death threats as the players. That's insane. That is not fan behavior. That's insane behavior is what it is. Are you kidding me? Meanwhile, the people sending those probably couldn't even do like a fraction as good a job. You like could never even dream of being in that position of being a college or pro athlete. Can we be so for real? Like, athletes, especially at such high levels, you have to understand they already hold themselves to such extremely high standards. We as the fans do not need to be adding to that. We do not need to be adding to that. I need us to just, in my perfect Clara world, we would just all be only supportive, and that's it. As far as like their actual talents and what they're showing on the court. You know, if they're doing whatever outside of their profession and just like being a bad person, that's different. But if you can't get down there and put on a performance 10 times better than whatever they did, and I'm not even just talking about basketball anymore, I'm talking about any sport. If you can't do that, I'm going to need you to shut your mouth when it comes to, oh, they could have done so much better. Oh, they should have done this differently, this differently. I know. That's why they have coaches. That's why they have trainers. That's why they have themselves. That's why they have their support system to tell them, hey, you could be doing better. Let's work on this. And then they go and they work on it. And if they don't work on it hard enough, they don't get to the next level. They don't earn the accolades that other athletes do. And that's just how it works. I feel like we don't need to be so hard on them all the time when they have that already. It's not necessary. And I also do want to say, I do appreciate the crowd from today for this particular reason. There was like one or two times where like BC girls were like tripped and like on the ground for a while. And even though the arena was vast majority UConn fans, everyone was silent and worried. And then when they got up, we clapped and like the whole thing. So that's what I mean when I say like be supportive of all the athletes. Like, even on opposing teams, like your team wouldn't be so impressive, wouldn't be so good if they didn't have a rival, an opponent to push them, to drive them, to motivate them. They want to put on a good performance, and having that opponent pushes them. It's like, I really appreciate South Carolina and Tennessee and Notre Dame and like all the schools that really challenge UConn, because they wouldn't be the program they are if they had no one to upset, if they had no one to take down, to aspire to be like. So I think you really just, as a fan, have to respect all these people, especially the athletes. Like, they, of course, are working every day to better themselves and working because they have a dream, but also they're there for our entertainment. Like, we only get to watch these things because these athletes have dedicated their whole lives and worked their butts off to be that good where it's actually entertaining to us. Like, nobody's watching toddler tots gymnastics or like 5-year-old, 6-year-old t-ball, you know? But there's a reason these things have big audiences, and it's because the players are good. And even the teams that everyone's like, oh, they suck, oh, they suck. I'm like, if you put together a team of civilians, just regular old people, against any of those teams that are like historically sucking right now or whatever, I feel like most of them, if not all of them, would beat the normal people because that's just how it is. So I just wanted to remind everyone, every sports fan, to always be respectful of obviously the players on your team, the players on the other team, all the coaches, the opponents, just everyone involved because they are there for your entertainment. Like, without them, there would be no game for you to watch. There would be nothing for you to cheer for. So just stay in your place. Don't get too like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. Babe, I'm sure they know. I'm sure they're working on it. And I'm sure that you will never be as good as them. So you should just, for a little bit, okay? Yeah. So thanks for watching this episode. Maybe what you should get out of it is that Clara was absolutely starstruck, awestruck for possibly the first time in my life. Like, I could not stop freaking out. It was hard to hold it together, but I was screaming. I was definitely bringing the energy. I tried to get some pictures. I tried to do AZ Fudd's hairstyle. I couldn't get it like as perfectly as she does. And I know someone else does it, but still. And I also have no experience with Dutch braids whatsoever. So this was really the best I could do. I feel like they're good enough. Just keep showing up for your teams, keep loving your sports, and I hope maybe I convinced one or two of you to check out UConn. I hope maybe I convinced one or two of you to check out UConn women's basketball because we're coming for national title number 13 this year. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Keep being you, whether that's a sports fan or not. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.